Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. If you've ever wanted to be more empowered and feel better about yourself, then do we have the I Am Enough show for you. Today I'll be talking with best-selling author Marisa Peer, named Best British Therapist by Men's Health magazine, the creator of the Instant Transformational Therapy, and the author of a brilliant new book on reframing your mind and your life, I Am Enough. And that's just what I want to talk with her about today, about marking your mirror and changing your life. That, plus we'll talk about caveman and Jane Fonda, fear of flying and cheeseburgers, eating your daughter's Easter eggs, morning walks in Beverly Hills, Stanford and marshmallows, the gift of womb cancer, wild boars and stained white shirts, and where in the world you need to park that rented new red Mustang. So welcome to the show, Marisa. Are you ready to shine?
I'm absolutely ready to shine, and thank you so much for inviting me on your shiny show.
Woohoo! Well, thank you so much for being here. Before we dive right into things, what did your teachers tell you early in life?
Oh, my teachers told me that I wouldn't amount to anything very much at all. They didn't really tell me there much that was positive. My father was the principal of my school, so that was quite a disadvantage for me because they expected a lot from me, and I didn't live up to it. In fact, I was told very early on to be a nanny, that's the best job I could find, looking after other people's children. And I was actually going to be a nanny, so I'm so glad I wasn't. But I can't say I had any inspiring teachers. I was lucky. My saving grace was I had an inspiring grandmother. And I learned very early on that you need one person, just one, who believes in you against all the odds. And sometimes that's a therapist. But I was lucky that the one person who believed was my grandmother. She saw something in me. She used to always tell me I was a genius. And that was really nice. Thank God for her.
When you were growing up, did you believe that there was genius inside of you, or did you believe the teachers?
No, when I was growing up, I didn't think I had anything particular to offer the world. I felt very geeky. I thought I was hideously unattractive. I didn't really think I had anything going for me at all. And I don't think that changed until I was about 17. I found myself at 17. And rather like that Janice Ian song, but mine was a positive finding. But until then, no, I felt ugly, stupid, unattractive. And I certainly wouldn't have thought I was gifted. And I had an older brother who was very bright and a younger sister who was very pretty. And I learned very early on about the role we play in the family. So the brother was the smart one, sister was the beautiful one, and I was just this thing in the middle. But it gave me a great insight into family dynamics. And I've got something now called Foreplay, which is one of the roles we play in order to belong.
What in the world is foreplay? I can't believe I'm asking this.
Foreplay is, when we're born onto the planet, if we're very lucky, we have parents go, you were planned, you were wanted. I don't care if you're a gardener, as long as you're happy, you're a gifted, wanted, loved child. If you're not sure that you're wanted, if you don't know your place in the world and your place in the family, there's only 4 things that you can do in order to feel wanted. And the first is to get sick. Yeah. And getting sick is so important because it makes you feel, look, they might not love me, but look at the effort they're going to get me these gluten-free stuff or the steroid cream or the doctor's appointments. And if a child is sick and all their needs are met, they very rarely ever give that up. And I know from working with doctors that 70% of people going to ER have illnesses that are driven by emotions, not disease, meaning they're very hard to fix. The second part, the role of Foreplay, the 4 roles we play, is the brilliant one. I mean, if you imagine if you lived in a tribe and you were the best hunter, the best builder, you would always be indispensable. And so children who are not convinced they belong will try to become brilliant, outstanding, perfect at math or sport. And again, they grow up to be life's workaholics. Even when they achieve, they have to achieve more. The third role, which is the role I took and that many therapists took, is the carer. Okay, I'm not getting love and care and attention. My needs aren't being met. Why don't I just give that to everyone else? Why don't I be the caring one in the family? I'll clean the house. I'll do things for mom. I'll cook the meals. I'll give what I most want to get back. And it's the same need that drives nurses to have that calling to give what they most want to get. The problem is you're often out of balance because you give so much, don't get it back. And I see that with so many coaches today. And the fourth role, which you only take when the other three are gone, it's usually the youngest child, the sick one is in the house, the brilliant one is in the house, and the carer's in the house. And that could be mum or dad. Mum could be brilliant, dad could be sick. It's to be the rebellious one, the difficult one, the one that makes a noise, that plays up, that acts out. They usually become addicts or alcoholics because the only way they can get attention is to bang their spoon on the high chair when they're 2, and they're still doing that when they're 52. So we play these roles to find connection, and then we never know how to give them up. And there's a whole chapter in the book about foreplay, the roles we play. And I meet people all the time and go, you know what? That changed my life. So many addicts write to me and go, wow, when I understood where I got that from, that need to be rebellious and difficult, it was a game changer. I met someone on a beach, which I've been in rehab 11 times. It's a revolving door. I go in, come out, go back. One conversation with you, never been back. And I love that. It was really a gift to me.
Thank you, thank you. So from there, and we may double back to foreplay later on. What did it mean at 17? What did you mean that you found yourself?
Well, at 17, I realized I wasn't an ugly geek. I found a lovely boyfriend who adored me. I dyed my hair blonde, and whoever said blondes have more fun, yes, they knew what they were talking about. And I was always this geeky kid with these long, skinny legs and who felt gawky. But at 17, I realized that long limbs is actually a kind of asset, and I began to love my long, skinny legs. And he loved me so much, and he was a bit like my grandmother. He saw in me something that I'd never seen in myself. He just loved my soul. And I realized 17 was a great age because you're young enough to make mistakes. You can be an adult anytime you like. You're still allowed to be a child. I learned to drive a car. And what was most interesting is my father, who always viewed me as this kind of stupid person, started to say things like, you know, you're actually very intelligent. And we just had a totally different relationship. He began to see something different. He would praise me and say, you look very beautiful, or you look really nice in that. And at 17, I had a part-time job. I had my own money. At 17, I went to college. I was no longer at my father's school. So that made a difference too. So I could be me. Instead of being always the principal's daughter, I could be myself. And I loved being 17. It was one of my favorite ages.
Awesome. And what a mind shift, which kind of leads us in the direction today. I'm very curious if you were able to step back and say, I'm treating myself differently. I'm thinking about myself differently. There's something kind of cool, and to actually geek out on what was going on in your mind.
Do you know, I wasn't that evolved at 17. At 17, I was very dependent on the boyfriend of my friends going, you look nice, or I love you, or you look great in those clothes. I was still at that age where most 17-year-olds are, where I had unmet needs and other people had to meet them for me. They could build my confidence, boost my self-esteem. It took me a lot longer to realize that the person who could do that the best was me. I didn't get that till I was probably 30.
When did you get interested in hypnotherapy?
Very early on. I was always going to be a school teacher or a child psychologist, and I gave both those up very quickly when I realized that to work as a child psychologist, you always have 3 patients, mum, dad, child. I was working in a very deprived part of England, and I ended up going to Los Angeles and teaching aerobics for Jane Fonda, which was much better for me. But while I worked for Jane, I loved her. I loved being an aerobic instructor. That was fantastic. You're full of endorphins every day. But I was very struck by how many women in my class, every third woman, was bulimic, anorexic, body dysmorphic. They had all kinds of issues, exercise compulsives. And I realized this was a mental illness, and you cannot treat bulimia or anorexia or body dysmorphia by changing the diet. It's a mental illness. I had so many girls in my classes with mental illnesses around food who are obsessed with what they ate or didn't eat. And that's how I found hypnosis. And it was such a game changer because I could take girls out of my class, or indeed in the changing room, change their relationship with food in their body in 20 minutes. And that was the beginning of my lifelong passion for the power of hypnotherapy and how it does, it cures people in a way that other therapies simply don't.
Well, to me, it's you can have as many conversations as you want, but you're talking with the conscious 10% or less, which is really on
Yeah, of
autopilot.
course.
It's not what's
Yeah.
going on. How did you start to change your own relationship with food?
Well, that happened when I got pregnant, actually. I had my daughter when I was 31. And of course, when I was in Los Angeles, my two roommates, one was bulimic, one was anorexic. And actually, living in West Hollywood, it all felt so normal to live on Diet Coke, diet hot chocolate, diet oatmeal. I mean, everybody who worked for Jane had this crazy diet of diet foods that are really bad for you. And when I had my daughter and came back to England, I didn't want her to be like that. And so I changed everything for me because I didn't want her to grow up. Like my mother was always on a diet and would hide stuff, would hide candy so we couldn't see it. But of course, we'd always find it and we were obsessed with it. So I was determined to give my daughter a normal relationship with food. I'd never go, oh, this is a treat, or this is naughty, or oh, we shouldn't really have this. I just would always call it food. This is a mango, this is hummus, this is a bit of chocolate. And I had to change my relationship because I was determined not to give her that illness. And I was very grateful that she went through her early years and wasn't anorexic, wasn't bulimic, because I worked with so many anorexic girls and they break your heart every time because they're in so much pain.
So let's go back. Thank you for sharing on that. I want to talk about the miracle of having your baby. And I was thinking before the show, I was sitting here, I was getting ready, and I'm like, oh, I'm so stiff and sore. I used to be a professional athlete, trained at the Olympic Training Center, raced bicycles in Europe, and I have twin titanium femurs and rods through my hips as well. And yesterday was my greatest jumping workout, sort of like aerobics taken to a whole bouncy level. Greatest workout ever. And I'm sore today, and it is the greatest thing in the world. So I want to talk about reframing and having a child.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was a wonderful thing for me, even though I wasn't really in a committed, I mean, I was with her father, but if I was going to pick a father, I probably would have picked someone a little more stable, although he's not like that now. But I was told I could never have children. I didn't even have periods. When I was 17, they stopped and they never came back. So for me to have a baby was quite a miracle. And when I was carrying that baby, all the doctors said, you'll never carry her to full term. She's going to have everything wrong with her. Because they told me that I had this thyroid condition, which turns out I managed to fix that. But I was determined to have a perfect baby. And there were several times in my pregnancy where they said, oh, you're losing her. And I losing the baby. They didn't know it was her. I knew it was her. And I would talk to her every day and tell her to stay. And actually, I had a perfect birth. And she was perfect. They said she'd be underweight. She was 7.5 pounds. There was nothing wrong with her. And she was such a gift to me because the day she was born, I said, I'm never taking thyroid medicine ever again. And I came off it. And yeah, she helped me so much because in getting pregnant myself against all the odds, having a perfect baby. And by the way, also, I never had postnatal depression. I gained baby weight. I lost it all within a week. I had on my jeans and a t-shirt. I probably sound horribly smug. But it was because I understood what to do. And people say, oh my God, isn't it exhausting? I'm like, no, babies sleep all the time. I loved having a newborn. I was a single parent too. I'd broken up with a father by then. And she was my nonstop joy. I was blissed out. And I realized that I could influence so many women to, first of all, get pregnant. Secondly, to carry a baby to full term, a healthy, robust baby, by the way. Thirdly, to have an amazing birth. And fourthly, to love the first few years, to see that they're not depression, that they are nonstop joy, that they give you so much. And so my experiences with her led me to write a book called Trying to Get Pregnant and Succeeding, People write to me from all over the world and go, wow, that book, I got pregnant after reading it. I'd had 8 cycles of IVF. I read that, got pregnant like a high school girl on a first date, had an amazing pregnancy, an amazing birth. And it's been a wonderful thing for me that my experience has helped so many babies come into the world.
So I've got to ask, and it's a little bit off topic, but we just had a miscarriage about 6 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. It's been about 6 weeks, and it's still a process of healing. I imagine it's in many ways a lifetime process, but we imagine that our little baby girl Hannah is circling the runway up above us. She's just waiting for the opportunity to come in. We're going to get your book on being pregnant. I'm wondering if, and I admit I haven't read it yet, is one of the number one tools, for lack of another word, our mindset.
Yeah, well, of course, because if you get diagnosed with unexplained infertility, that very word means we cannot explain what's wrong. You have perfect ovaries, grade A eggs, clear fallopian tubes, your womb is great, your husband's sperm is perfect. Why you're not getting pregnant is unexplained. But you see, the mind will always do what it thinks you want it to do. If you say at 16, for God's sake, don't get me pregnant, my dad will kill me, or at 22, please be careful. I don't want to get pregnant now. It'd be a disaster. It'd be the worst thing that could happen to me. It would be a nightmare. Your mind forms a belief you don't want a baby. Even saying things like, oh, being pregnant is so boring. I'm dreading getting fat. I don't want the swollen ankles. I'm dreading giving birth. Your mind can only pick up that you don't want it. So if you want a baby, you have to say, I love being pregnant. I love every minute, every second. I have clients, for instance, who are injecting themselves for IVF, and they have to open the fridge, go, I love the needles. I love the injections. Every procedure is taking me closer to holding my baby in my arms. And you got to really get on board. I have so many women who'll say things like, I can't walk down the aisle in the supermarket that has baby clothes. I go, no, you walk right down the aisle and you buy something, a little pair of socks, a little hat, a little pacifier, anything, because you've got to say to your mind, I'm expecting a baby, and my baby's having these kind of diapers and that kind of baby food. If you avoid the aisle and go, I can't go down there because nature said no to me so many times, then you're saying no yourself. When the mind says yes, the body will say yes. That's why so many people who adopt, because they are infertile, find they become pregnant. It's why you can have IVF and get pregnant naturally. The statistics of people getting pregnant naturally after one successful IVF are incredibly high. Many countries, if you're adopting, ask you to please use birth control for 3 years. This adopted child needs one-on-one attention, and you probably get pregnant, and we can't have that. Yeah. And so in the UK, they always ask you to use birth control, even if you're infertile, if you're adopting. Because one of my friends was adopting. She got pregnant. I said, for God's sake, you're going to have to hide that, because they find out you're pregnant. They won't let you have. She said, I know, it's a miracle. And she had to hide that pregnancy to the 11th hour till everything was signed.
Wow.
And then when they found out, they said, we never would have given you that baby if we'd known. She said, well, it just happened. As it happens, her children are only 6 months apart, and she's done a great job. But of course, when you're running around saying, oh, I need swimming stuff for my baby, I need this for my baby, I need that for my baby, your body will go ahead and create the baby that you're talking about. So you've got to expect a baby in the same way you expect your taxes, you expect a phone call, it's coming. And don't just expect any baby, expect a robust, healthy, bouncing, beautiful baby. And talk to your baby. You're doing the right thing. Talk to Hannah, invite her back and say, Hannah, I've created a place in my womb, in my heart, in my body, and in my life for you. And then do a little meditation where you show Hannah the first steps, the first tooth, the first time you go in the paddling pool, the first time you go in the sandbox. Take her around your house. Go, this is where you're going to sleep with mommy and daddy, because they're like sleeping with you in a little bassinet by the bed. And what is a wonderful thing to do is to have Hannah's presence in every room in your house. the playpen in the living room, the crib in your bedroom, the baby bath in the living room, the sterilizing kit in the kitchen. So the baby's presence is everywhere, and they feel so welcome. And then to imagine coming back from the hospital to a house full of balloons and cards and gifts, so she feels so wanted. And then she'll arrive again and stay.
You're making me cry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tears
Well,
of
it's a
joy. No,
beautiful thing.
tears of joy. So I guess last question on this topic is, and I'm fascinated, this whole topic to me, not the pregnancy specifically, pregnancy, yes, but mindset. First trimester, we call it the first trimester conspiracy. Most moms in the West, particularly the UK and the US, don't talk about first trimester. It's kind of hidden, which I think is a
Of
horrible thing.
course.
That's my own opinion.
Sure.
But a lot of women get very, very exhausted. My wife got very
Hmm.
exhausted, and we allowed for that, and we didn't push her at all. But is exhaustion required, or is there anything that we can do the mind to help the
Yeah,
body during this time?
I think it's, one of the rules of the mind is we turn into our beliefs, the belief that it's exhausting, it's draining, it's tiring, and the baby cries all the time, and you don't get any sleep. And yet, people will say, well, that wasn't my experience. I sailed through my pregnancy. My baby at 4 months was sleeping through the night. And if you go to tribes, I've been to Africa a lot, you just don't see that experience. And women who've got 3 or 4 children don't find that. And farmers' wives tend to be very, very fertile because they see animals giving birth so easily. So it's very easy to be influenced by what we see. And it's very important not to do that because, of course, we have another infertility, secondary infertility. And that means I got pregnant like that with the first baby, and no matter what happened, I cannot get pregnant a second time. And that's because you say things like, oh my God, imagine having two. That would be a nightmare. Can you imagine? That would bankrupt us. If I had another one, I'd have to leave home. It would kill me. We say all these silly things. We don't mean it. We love having a baby. But we say things like, oh, if I had a second one now, it'd just be the end of the world. And the mind's job, which is to keep you alive on the planet against all the odds, is, oh, a nightmare, a disaster, the end of the world. And if you're tired in your pregnancy, you say things like, this tiredness is killing me. Then your mind says, oh no. I mean, my friend, she said all the time, my baby is making me insane. I said, that's not true. Your baby is not making you insane. This is the greatest gift. Having a baby is your only chance to be God. You're making a miracle in your body. It's an amazing 9 months to feel so incredible. But if you say the tiredness is killing me, I'm insane with tiredness, your mind goes, you don't want that. So what you have to say is, I'm a little tired because I'm making a new person. It's a bit like if you have morning sickness, the stronger the hormones, the healthier that baby is, and those hormones can make you throw up. But it's a great sign. It's a great sign that you're making a perfect baby. So my advice is welcome every stage.
Thank you. I love how you said if you have more morning sickness, it means you have really strong hormones. And that's a great thing. You do this throughout your book. You've done this throughout all of your
Always,
work.
yeah.
So you said, if I have a baby, it'd be the end of the world. You talk
Yeah.
about another situation occurred to you where many people say it'd be the end of the world, but you actually said, thank God. You
Yeah,
got womb cancer. You
I
said, I'm
did.
not doing illness, and thank God I've got cancer in my womb.
Yeah, and then when I first was diagnosed with cancer, that was a shock because I'm very positive. I'm very healthy. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I live a great life. I live in gratitude. So I really thought I was bulletproof. I don't even eat dairy. And when I was diagnosed with cancer, and my sister had womb cancer at exactly the same time, that's the only reason I knew I had it. I had no symptoms. I was living a great life, but she had symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got tested, and they said, oh, you have it too. And my first thought was, oh no, my second thought was, what a stroke of luck that is. I mean, I don't need a womb. It's done an amazing job and given me a beautiful child. And I spoke to my women and said, I'm really sorry I have to let you go now, but you gave me this great baby, and I have to let you go because I've got to stay here and raise this kid, even though she's an adult. But I felt very lucky indeed that it was an organ that I didn't need. I mean, breast cancer, I'd have felt the same. I don't need a breast, but having spine cancer would have been a lot worse. So I think actually what happens is that when you live this life, it stops being what you do and it becomes who you are. And I felt so blessed that it was in an organ that I could have removed, that I didn't need, and that I wasn't even going to miss. And I had a hysterectomy. I was back on stage a week later, and it really was just a blip. And I've always felt grateful that I had it. I mean, I'd hate to have it in my eye, but I didn't mind having it in my womb. In fact, I felt very fortunate.
Was that one of your 2 near-death experiences?
Yeah, my second was very strange. I've eaten shellfish my entire life, and I ate some shellfish last May in New York. I was teaching and I walked back and I went into the bathroom and I literally had the worst reaction. I did almost die. I lost consciousness. I went into anaphylactic shock. It was so bizarre. My poor husband my sister had to run out in the street and get the police, and my husband got an ambulance and they brought me around on the pavement. Luckily, as it was happening, I was dialoguing with my mind as fast as I could because my airways were closing up, saying, I can breathe. And then it all went black. But that was interesting. I don't know where that came from because I've eaten shellfish my entire life and now I don't. But yeah, that's a strange thing when you think, well, I've got 4 minutes and then it's game over. But I knew the only thing I had then was to talk myself out of it. You always do have a choice. Rationalize what's going on and feel terrified, or talk yourself out of it. And actually, my husband said, when they got you outside, you were already coming round. So whatever I was doing was just starting to work, luckily.
Isn't that perhaps maybe the most important thing in the world, at least for operating in this world? We always have a choice.
Choice. We always have a choice. You know, I say to my talks all the time when I'm giving a talk, you can choose to be negative or positive. That's up to you. Personally, I think you cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought. I think you must be positive. But if you wish to be negative, that is your choice. But you know what you can't choose? What you do to your body when you go, that's killing me, that's driving me mad, that's stressing me out, I'm at the end of my rope. And if you could look into your body and see what you do when you use negative language, you wouldn't use negative language.
Now, you're not talking here, though, about positive psychology. What's the difference?
It's just your dialogue. Your dialogue is everything. Your mind is going to work out what's going on with you by the words you say to yourself. So you can choose whatever you say, but your mind doesn't have any choice. When you go, being on this freeway is killing me, my kid is making me want to die, these customers are driving me mad, your mind cannot work out that that is just a fleeting thought. Your mind must decide that that's real, it's a threat, and now it's got to do it. So if you say, for instance, I'll die if I have to speak in public, it will kill me to go on stage, I'm dying up there. Your mind's like, right, no, this is going to kill you. I need to give you a panic attack or an ulcer or anxiety. I must get you away from that thing that you say is killing me. Mm-hmm. And how many of us say, if another guy ghosts me on Tinder, I'll kill myself. I can't let myself fall in love again. That last person ripped out my heart, trampled all over it, and it nearly killed me. And if it happens again, it will kill me. No, darling, the last guy just got bored with you, and he wasn't right for you anyway. That was the start of a relationship. There's somebody better for you. But when you say things like, it would kill me, and we hear all these songs, I'll die if you leave me, I can't live without you, my life is over since you left, they reinforce this crazy belief that we'll die without love. You won't die without love. Life is better with love. But if you believe that you'll find love, you'll find it. Doesn't always work out. But you can have a starter relationship like you have a starter home, and the next one will be better. And every relationship we're in will help you find the right one. I found the right relationship when I was 50. I'm ecstatically happy. And I'm grateful for all the other people that weren't right, because it led me to my beautiful husband who's sitting right next to me, who is right. But rejection can be the best thing that ever happened to you. I'm so glad I got kicked out of college. I'm delighted I got fired. I'm thrilled my first boyfriend dumped me because they all sent me on the path I realized I should have been on and the universe put me on. But there was rejection on the way, and that was just fine.
Thank you so much for sharing. And it was me finding my miracle wife at 40 myself, and my family was
Yeah.
convinced that I would, yeah, end up a monk or single, just single for my life. You have found a way to use your mind for you rather than against you, which is interesting because the mind is always trying to keep us alive, but not necessarily to enable ourselves. If we go back in time, though, was confidence our birthright?
Yes, confidence was our birthright. In order to make it, we had to be confident. And a baby is the minute a baby's born, it's confident about one thing. You're going to meet all my needs because I'm worth it. No baby says, I shouldn't cry. My dad works nights. I shouldn't throw up that organic broccoli that my mum spent 3 times the cost onto the net regular one and she's just pureed it. I shouldn't throw that up, especially over this white t-shirt that she just bleached and ironed. A baby doesn't do that. A baby, I'm bored or I want feeding. It's 5 a.m. Who's coming to pay attention? I don't like that food. So when you put it near me, I'm going to go like that and turn my head away or spit it out. So confidence is our birthright. We are born with phenomenal confidence and high self-esteem too. Babies believe they are the most important person. They put their needs first. It's very easy to chip away at that, very easy to diminish it. But initially, babies are like puppies and kittens. They think they're amazing. They expect love. The first thing a baby has is being looked at. People say, I'm not good with attention. Well, that's an acquired belief because when you're born, people count your toes, they check you out, everyone comes to visit you and look at you, and no baby says, I'm having a bad hair day or I've got these milk spots. Don't look at me. So confidence is our birthright. It's very sad that we can lose it so fast, but I don't think we lose it. I think it becomes buried under other stuff. I'm not good at confrontation. I don't like arguments. I can't speak in public. I'm not attractive. And when you get rid of those limiting beliefs, the confidence comes back, and that's a wonderful thing.
How do we dig away and how do we actually, I want to take like a leaf blower. How do I blast the limiting beliefs out of here?
Well, you have to find out what they are first. That's why the I'm Enough book is such a great book. I can say that even though I wrote it. And it's why my program of RTT is so good. I developed my own therapy. And it's a process of investigating why you believe what you believe, interrupting those beliefs, and then installing new ones, recoding, if you like. And that's why the book has some audios with it to recode back in the beliefs you should have. You were born believing that you're enough, believing that you were lovable, loaded with confidence, with high self-esteem. And it's all been buried under limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'm not attractive enough. And if you never had a mirror, you'd have no idea what you looked like. If you didn't have parents or teachers to go, but your brother could read at 4, what's wrong with you? Or why do you drop food on the floor? Your sister never did that. So we begin comparing children very early on. And that's really bad news because children are individual. An arty child isn't a scientific child. A sporty child is different. People say, I've got 3 kids and they're so different. I'm like, that's the point. You're not supposed to give birth to yourself once, let alone 3 times. And we should celebrate the difference. But we tend to pigeonhole children, especially at school. We have the streaming, which is a terrible thing to do. We have the top stream and the lower stream. And we reward children for achievement, not effort. And that is terrible because some of the kids that work the hardest don't get the prizes. It's the gifted kid that doesn't even have to study. And I've always thought that is such a mistake to give one kid a prize for achievement when you should give them prizes for effort. You worked so hard at that. It doesn't even matter that it didn't work out. Look at how much time you put in. And so we chip away at children very early. But the way around it is to go back and go, well, that's not me. I read out in class when I was 3. or 6, I tried to say the word bridge and I went bridger, and everybody laughed, and my brain went, never do that again. Never draw attention to yourself. But here I am. I'm 33. I know that bridge is pronounced bridge and school is pronounced school and the H is, so I know all of that. I'm not that 4-year-old kid. People like me. I can speak. I can converse. I like myself. So the way around it is really to fall in love with yourself. Fall in love with yourself by praising yourself. There is nothing on the planet that will build your self-esteem like self-praise. And self-praise is very simple. Start every day going, I matter. I'm enough. I'm lovable. I'm significant. If every kid went to school saying those 4 things, bullying would be a minor thing. It's a major thing. 50% of children don't want to go back to school because of bullying. They either are bullied or they see it and they don't know what to do. We've now got a whole anti-bullying program. We give it away to any school. Anyone watching this who's involved in children, you can write to us at marisapeer.com. We will give you that free of charge because I'm passionate about building children's self-esteem. But even if you're an adult, it's never too late to have a happy childhood. Start every day going, I'm enough. I matter, I'm lovable, I'm significant, I'm here for a purpose. And if you say it, it will sink in the way lotion sinks in when your skin is dry. Your mind doesn't look as this fair trade lotion, is this good lotion. It just lets it in and it nourishes you. And words will nourish you. Good words will nourish you. Negative words will diminish you. Pay attention to how you talk about yourself. If I could give you one piece of advice to grow your self-esteem, is collaborate and communicate better with yourself. We're taught if you learn to communicate, you'll have a better marriage, you'll have a better business. We should be taught communicate with yourself better, you'll have a better life. And it's easy once you know how. That's why I wrote that book.
There's an exercise I've been known to do a lot. I get to do it even more. I put my hand over my heart. Cheesiest thing in the world. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. Because we don't get that enough as a kid. We don't get somebody holding us and really telling us it's okay. It's all going to be all right. You matter.
Yeah. I matter. I matter is such an important word. I'm significant. And the problem is that if you don't do that with young children, when they become teenagers or even earlier, they look for other people to do that for you. They start to look for a boyfriend or girlfriend who'll say, I like you. You know, we have what I call unmet needs. Here are my needs. I don't feel lovable. Can you meet that need? Could you meet that need? Could you come into my life and make me feel lovable? Could you make me feel that I matter? Could you make me feel... Well, yeah, they can. But they can also remove it like that. So you could find someone that goes, I love you. You're so great. You know, I ring your phone just to hear your voice. And one day they go, no, I found someone better now, taller than you, thinner than you, younger than you. I don't love you anymore. And now you're right back to being needy. You know, we have to be responsible for our unmet need for praise and love and worth. And we have to do it ourselves. And then it changes our entire life. So that boy that built me up when I was 17 broke up with me when I was 18, and it was the end of the world. And then I realized that I had to fix myself. You can't give someone else a job of making you better. Don't allow someone else to be responsible for your happiness. Happiness is an inside job. You can do it for yourself better than anyone else.
How do we forgive ourselves when we've been taught, in this society in particular, to ride ourselves to no end and have been taught, in essence, we've been guided by fear. So how do we let that go and allow the love to come back in?
Well, the easiest way is to, we have a product called I'mEnough.com. It's an 8-week product and it does everything for you. One of the reasons I created I'm Enough was because I've spent 33 years working with people who come in with a litany of issues. I don't feel good enough. I feel rejected. I can't find love. I'm morbidly obese because I eat sugar to make up for the fact that I'm not happy, or I keep trying to run a business, they never succeed. And so 33 years down the line, I realized that all my clients have the same problem, whether they're a billionaire living on a yacht in Florida or someone in the middle of New York who's teaching at school. We all have the same issues. And I'm Enough is a whole program. There's the book, of course, but there's also the online program that shows you how to get it back. And one of the reasons I made it is because I looked at other programs which were good, but they involved so much work. Write out 100 goals a day, read a new book every week. And it's like, well, I have a home, a business, a partner, and a child. That's enough work for the rest of my life. So transformation must be easy. It must be fast. It must be quantified. You must be able to see it working. Yeah. If you can't see it working, people lose interest very quickly. You probably know that people don't even finish most self-help books, which is why I made mine smaller. So people have to find something that works and go, so I'm Enough. When you say that every day, it starts to work really, really fast. And that's why it's so good.
Thank you. So can you tell us, there was I joked about it in the beginning, grade A Hollywood star. You rented a red, a red convertible Mustang, I believe it was.
I did.
You show up, you couldn't even park on the street. Tell us about the situation, and how did you begin to help him to realize he is enough?
Yeah, so I was working on my own show in America, and the producer of another show called and said, please go and work with this celebrity. He's lost it big time. He's about to be carted off to rehab. It's costing $10,000 a minute just to film this show, and he's gone missing. And so I said, I'll go now. And they said, but what? And they rented me this Mustang. They said, you can't put that outside his house. You can only have a Porsche or a Jaguar or a status car. So I love the Mustang, but I hid it around the corner, and I rang the bell of this incredible Hollywood house. It was a beautiful, amazing house. He answered the door, and I said, I love your house. And his first response was, oh, I hate this house. I hate the neighbors. And he was very cranky. He said I reminded him of his third wife, who caused him the most unhappiness. And then we went into his den to begin our session, and he had a BAFTA, which is an English Oscar. And I said, oh, you have a BAFTA? That's amazing. He said, no, it's a curse. It's a curse to get an award like that because people expect so much of me. And I went, oh, I know what's wrong with you already. So how can you know that fast? I went, well, the car on the drive, this amazing house, the 4 ex-wives, and the BAFTA, these are all filler for the emptiness. You just don't think you're enough. And big tears leaked out of his eyes. And he said, do you think that's true? I went, I know it. And so do you. And then he told me about his life. He lived on a trailer in Midwest. His dad worked in construction. Every time it snowed, the dad had no work. The dad had no money. The mother had to work nights then to make more money. And of course, the little tiny kid, he was 8 at the time, but a kid whose mum isn't there, who says, I'm going to work. And I work. I was a working single mother. But you've got to tell your child why you work, because a child will always hear one thing. Mum isn't here. She's at work. Why is she not here? Because she likes work better, because I'm not enough. So a child will bring everything back to, I'm not enough. Dad's left. I'm not enough. Mum's crying. I'm not enough. Parents are fighting. I'm not enough. They're working all the time. They've had a new baby. They're like better than me. I'm not enough. And once we buy into I'm not enough, we need someone like me or one of my RTT therapists or the book or the program to come along and unravel that, because it does so much damage. I'm not enough is behind every addiction. I've worked with thousands of addicts. I've never met one who ever could go, I feel enough, but they also are not enough. So all our modern day issues, smoking, drinking, using medication, eating too much, buying too much, self-sabotage, progression, all because I don't think I'm enough. And when I told him that, and I wrote it on his mirrors, and I put it on his phone alerts, and I had him say it every day, 6 weeks later, He was a different guy. He lost 40 pounds. He got a mini car, sold the Porsche, dated a hairdresser, and said, you know what? I've never been so happy in my entire life. Because when you don't feel enough, it's often the driver to become famous or successful. I'll go out there and make it, then you'll all love me. And he pulled it off like many famous people do. But inside, he always felt like that unlovable kid. Marilyn Monroe was the same, Robin Williams, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Michael Jackson, so many beautiful people with talent. But inside, they think, I'm not enough. And they want to be famous to feel enough. But when they become famous, they still feel not enough. And now it's worse because everyone knows about it. And there's nowhere to go. They believe that the fame would make them better. And it doesn't. And if you think you're struggling with I'm not enoughness, which is the common denominator of every emotional issue, buy the book or go to marisapeer.com and we give away a lot of free audios that will cure I'm not enough. Because when you change that, it changes everything, because its strength is in its simplicity and in its absolute honesty. You are enough. You always have been, and you always will be.
Woohoo! Let's talk about another few things where the strength is in the simplicity. The power of repetition.
Yeah. The mind learns by repetition. You know, one of the things I talk about in that I'm Enough book is the rules of your mind. It took me 30 years to collect these collective rules that run you. When you understand your mind, and indeed other people's minds too, you start to be forgiving instead of resentful. You start to have compassion for other people. You're able to fall in love with yourself. But the mind does indeed learn by repetition. When you say, I'm enough, your mind might go, you're not really enough, are you? Because you buy your clothes in Target. I'm enough. Well, are you enough? You don't even have your own home. But when you keep saying, your mind goes, you know what? You say this every day. It must be true. And it lets it in and it begins to change you. But you see, if you go, I'm not enough every day, it will let that in too. Pay attention to your words. Your thoughts create your feelings create your actions, and your actions tend to justify your words. So if you go, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, you actually won't take much action. It makes you feel bad, and the feel bad will limit. You won't ask people out or say, hey, do you want to come to my house? Or you look cute. I thought I'd just start a conversation with you. And you isolate yourself and then justify why you don't think you're enough. Change one thing. Take out the not. I am enough. When you say I'm enough, you feel good. You feel brave. You feel confident. You feel comfortable. You can take a risk. Hey, I'm inviting people around at the weekend to watch a movie. Do you want to come? And if they say no, you don't feel rejected because you're enough. And you justify all the action you take, because when you're enough, you cannot be rejected. People can have rejecting behavior. They can't reject you because you're enough. You know, you can't write a book, speak on stage, have your own radio show if you think you're not enough, because people will pop up and go, I don't like you. I hate your voice. I hate the way you look. What you spoke about wasn't true. And it will go in and hurt you. When you know you're enough, people will still say weird stuff. I only have to go on my YouTube. I can always find somebody saying something seriously weird and mean. I leave them up. Doesn't bother me.
Send them love.
I know I'm enough. Yeah, send them love. What kind of person sits at home concocting horrible statements and putting them up there? They're unhappy people. Feel bad for them. Critical people always have the most criticism reserved to themselves, and they reflect out to you their deep dissatisfaction with themselves. Feel sad for them, feel sorry for them, but don't let it in. Not letting in destructive criticism is a game changer. And it's so easy to go, thanks for sharing. Sorry you're having a bad day. Move on. It's not about you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You talk about getting up in the morning. I can always picture somebody hopping out, feet hit the floor. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Now let me do the stuff that I don't like to do. Tell me the
Yeah.
power of front loading.
I mean, I recommend that you put "I'm enough" on your bathroom mirror so that when you clean your teeth, you have to read it. It's very easy to have all these plans and to forget. We need reminders. You should have it on your mirror. You should have it on your fridge magnets. You should have it pinging up on your phone alerts. And you should change all your passwords so they contain squiggles and dots and "I'm enough." So if you have to type it every day, read it every day, write it every day, ingest it every day, and then it will go in, and then you will be wired to be successful. People say, if I'm enough, don't I lie on the couch eating potato chips? No. When you know you're enough, you think, I'm worth more. I deserve a great relationship, a pay rise, a promotion. And then you start to take action. You take action when you know you're enough. You go to inaction when you think you're not enough. And when you take action, you're ready to do what successful people do, which is they do what they hate to get to where they want to be. And people who fail will give up their dream rather than do what they don't want to do. And a mark of absolute success is to wake up and go, what do I don't want to do? I've got to fire someone. I've got to ask someone for the money I lent them back, and it's my friend. And I'm dreading that conversation. I've got to tell someone I really like that I don't like their behavior. I've got to speak to a colleague at work who's ripping off my ideas, and I don't want to do it. And if you wait till later, you feel bad all day and you never do it. And if you do it first, you feel good all day because you've adopted a habit of a winner. People who are successful tend to do these things naturally. Like when they're at school and the teacher says, who wants to read out their poem? I do. And they want to get it out of the way. They don't feel brave. They feel, I don't want to have to wait for 60 other kids to read. I want this done. But even if it feels unnatural, you adopt that habit. Everyone in my office will say, what do we not want to do? Let's do that first. What do I not want to do? I don't like running. So I'm going to run first thing. Mm-hmm. And I feel good all day. If I go running at 7 o'clock tonight because I hate it, 7 o'clock comes, the phone rings, or I need to eat, and now I can't run. So whatever you don't want to do and don't like doing, do it first. It's the mark of a winner. It's like there's a success club. So here's a club for successful people. You want to join it? You can join. There are no membership fees, but there is a requirement. To join the success club, you must adopt this habit. Do what you do not want to do first. Now you're a member of this club of highly successful people. That is the membership dues. Pay them and you can be a member. And many people say to me, Marisa, I hear your voice saying, oh, you don't want to do that, do it first. And I do it. It's changed my business. It's changed my life. It changed my life. That's why I love to share those things with other people.
Thank you. You have a beautiful blog, I think it was from the end of November, talking about how we can sabotage ourselves by looking for the perfect job. We have this belief inside of us that when we find something that's just right, that's in alignment, we're not going to have to do anything we don't like to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and people think that to me. They go, you have such a great life. Well, I do. I have an amazing, blessed life, but I have to do things. I had to get up very early this morning to do this interview with you because I have a busy day. I'm always getting on planes. I'm leaving behind my daughter and my sister and my family. I don't have pets anymore, and I love pets because I travel. But I'm always aware of how good it is. But if you believe your life is going to be perfect, you'll be disappointed. And we do something even worse than that. I'm waiting for the perfect person. Mm-hmm. There is no perfect person. We are flawed people. And the best you can ever hope is to find another flawed person to have a beautiful, flawed relationship with. Because I can promise you from seeing all my clients that the unhappiest clients I ever have are the ones who want to be perfect. If I just have a perfect weight, a perfect body, a perfect haircut, a perfect home, I'll be happy. And then I can find a perfect partner. But they're not only unhappy, they're always lonely because there is no perfection. And perfect people, we don't like them. The basis of all friendship is we choose people who share our vulnerabilities. If you Hide them and pretend you're perfect. You will be alone. When I was in agony aunt, I had an agony column. The people who wrote in and talked about their loneliness were the ones who had a belief. I'll just go to the gym, get a stylist, work out, and when I'm perfect, when I'm Miss Perfect or Mr. Perfect, my perfect other half will show up. They never did. Don't do that. Ask better questions. Can I find someone with a good heart who I can love? And all my RTTs, all the people that I train in RTT, our graduates all over the world come and say the same thing. Wow. You know, people turn up at my door. I mean, I've had movie stars turn up at my door, and it is a bit, oh my God, you're that famous person. Last year, one of the biggest stars in the world sent his driver to drive me to his amazing house for a session. And I was a bit daunted. But of course, really, I met a flawed person who said, you know, that's not me. People expect perfection. I remember talking to Eric Clapton's wife, and that song Wonderful Tonight was written for her, Layla, and something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. And she said, when I heard those songs, people expect me to, I'm not perfect. They're always disappointed. Elizabeth Taylor said, people come to see how fat and ugly I've got, and guess what? I never disappoint them. How sad to go through life. You see, people who are blessed with beauty and talent actually not always advantaged because it starts to diminish. There's always a younger, taller, more beautiful person coming up right behind you. All the beautiful stars I've worked with that are women go into seclusion when they become 70. They shut themselves away because they feel that they're nothing without their looks. And so it's very important to know that you matter, to know that you're enough, to realize that please don't try to be perfect. You're running a race. There's no finishing line. Every time you get close, it moves and it moves again. You're already perfect. You're flawed and perfect, just the way you are. And so many of my graduates say, wow, you know, when I teach other people, especially kids who say, my dad needs me to be perfect. He wants me to get an A star. And we work with the young children and empower them to go back and say, Dad, you're a scientist. I'm an athlete. I can't be you. I can only be me. I got an A or a B star, and that's good for me. It's good enough. Please don't try to make me be perfect because I just feel I'm disappointing you, and I feel that. And it's such a gift to be able to help kids or even adults who now get migraines every day because the dad expects them to be a barrister just like he is, and they don't know how to say, I want to be a DJ. I worked with someone recently in RTT, one of my clients who did just that, left law school, became a DJ, but before then, she was having migraines every day because she couldn't say to her dad, this is your dream. It's not my dream. You know, we must allow people to follow their own path, find their own gift, monetize their gift, believe in themselves. And that's what the I'm Enough program does, because everyone has a gift, but if you keep forcing your kid into medicine or law, you never find out that their gift is for design or tech or art, or maybe their gift is to be a landscape gardener. And if they're happy, then let them be happy.
Thank you. If I was to take off, this has been brilliant, Marisa. If I was to take off my coaching hat and put it on you, what one homework assignment? I don't want people to leave here today without homework. I know we're going to get them writing all over their mirrors now. In addition to that, what one homework assignment would you give people today?
I would have them write out what they are not. You're not your weight. You're not your shape. You're not your size. You're not the numbers in your bank account or on the scales or on the labels in your clothing. You're not your childhood. You're not your school days. You're not even your job description. Those are not you. What you are is enough. You are enough. And if you say every day, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, and then add in, I have always been enough, and I always will be enough. You give the world permission to recognize that you're enough. And when the world can recognize that you're enough, you'll never get a guy who goes, well, your thighs are a bit big, or You should lose some weight. You'll never find a woman that goes, yeah, I like you, but I'm looking for a boyfriend with more money or a nicer car, because you're able to stand and go, I'm enough.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can be enough, the whole world will know that you're enough. You'll get better employed. You'll find better partners. You'll raise better children. People will treat you better because we are all enough. And when you do that, you allow someone else to do it too. And you'll raise better children, have a better, more loving relationship, be a better employee or employer, all by acknowledging that you're enough. It changes your life. That's why it's the title of the book. And write it on your mirror. Change your passwords, put it all over your house, embroider cushions. One of my own patients stamped it on her children's pillowcases. So it's the last thing they saw and the first thing. She said, it's made such a difference to my kids. They don't get bullied. They would never bully. They're the greatest kids because the first and last thing they see is those words, and they sink in and make a difference.
On that note, Jessica, she's my wife and producer, always wants me to ask, what advice would you give to parents to help their kids realize they are enough?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. So, every day when your kid comes in from school or when you're putting them to bed, ask them one question. What did you do today that was great? And they'll sometimes go, I shared a pencil with another kid, or I shared my lunch with a kid that forgot their lunch. Other times they go, I don't know, I didn't do anything. And then you say, no, you did do something. And you might have to say, I noticed you were very kind to your sister, or you helped your mum. My little girl, when she was very little, I'd say to her, darling, why did you spill your juice? And she'd go, because I'm bad. And I go, oh, no. You're a great kid, but you did a bad thing. You spilled your juice. Why did you spill it? Because I was watching television, and that's it. And I would, whenever she said she was bad, I go, no, you're not bad. You're a good kid. But good kids do bad things, and smart kids do stupid things. Tell me again why you spilled your juice, why you pushed over your nephew, why you said a horrible thing to your cousin. And you go, well, you said they were your favorite. You liked them more than me. I go, no, I said that was my favorite nephew. So when you ask your children, darling, that's not you. Why did you do that? They will tell you the truth if they know. And I'd always say to my daughter, whenever you tell me the truth, I will never punish you. Of course, when she got green nail varnish over the carpet, I had to honor that because, Mummy, I must tell you the truth. And she goes, I feel so much better now. I've told you. But allow your kids to come to you, and they'll tell you everything. People are offering them drugs. Their friend is shoplifting. If they know you won't punish them for telling you the truth, and if you can always say to them, you're a good kid, you did a silly thing. That doesn't mean you're not smart. It means you did something silly, but the base of you is a good, smart kid. Then they will be honest and they'll tell you everything, and you'll be equipped to help them. And that's a great thing.
Woohoo! On that note, what personally brings you the greatest happiness, or what I call the woohoo factor?
Oh, without question, my RTT. This week I got a video from a girl I worked with in LA, was in a wheelchair, and she walked. And no doctor, no physio, no drugs could do what RTT did. I went back and understood what had happened and got her bones to knit together by commanding it. So rapid transformational therapy is an amazing, amazing therapy. I think soon it will be recognized as the best therapy in the world. It took me 30 years to put it together. And that was the best Christmas gift I could get, seeing this girl walking. I worked with a girl last week in Australia who was suicidal, age 13. And her mum said, wow, she's a different kid. You've done such a wonderful job with her. So that's the best thing ever. And not only that, but my graduates now teach this. They get the same results I get. I used to get letters from clients saying, you changed my life. Now my own therapists that I train all over the world send me their letters from clients saying, you've changed my life. They're earning more money than they ever thought they could earn. They're working their own hours. They are changing people's lives. When you change someone's life, you change your own. And every day you get connection, significance, meaning, and purpose. It's a wonderful life.
Beautiful. Where can people go to find out about RTT and to find your beautiful book, I Am Enough?
Well, very easy. You can either go to rapidtransformationaltherapy.com to find out where to find a therapist, or indeed to find out how to become one. And it is a wonderful training. It's short, it's powerful, it's life-changing. If you want to find out about I'm Enough, then simply go to iamenough.com. And if you want some free products and gifts, just go to marisapeer.com. I'm so grateful my parents gave me an unusual name and it wasn't Jane Smith, because marisapeer.com with one S is where you can find out all kinds of gifts. They're free. And also, if you want to take the anti-bullying program for your school, for your kids, for your niece, for your nephew, for your little league, go to marisapeer.com and you'll find out how to get that too. It's completely free. We give that away to everyone because we want to raise self-esteem. And you can also, if you want to contact me, write to support@marisapeer.com.
And if you didn't catch any of these URLs, rapidtransformationaltherapy.com, iamenough.com, or marisapeer.com, or support@marisapeer.com, come on over to inspirenationshow.com and we'll get you over to rapidtransformationaltherapy.com, iamenough.com, marisapeer.com, and our personal email, support@marisapeer.com. This has been phenomenal, Marisa. Before we dive into a short meditation, any last words of wisdom you want to share with people today?
Well, two of my favorite expressions. One is the feeling that cannot find its expression in tears will cause other organs to weep. And I love that expression because it's saying if you don't feel what you're feeling, for instance, I know you've lost a baby, and that's a sad thing, but you must mourn that. The significance of an event is linked to your ability to mourn it. If you don't feel it, it will regroup and come back. So my saying, that's Henry Mortley's saying, but my saying is feel the feeling until it no longer requires to be felt. If you feel sad, if you feel heartbroken, if you feel rejected, you must feel that feeling and say, I'm feeling sad, but it will pass. You know, we try to eat our feelings, Netflix our feelings, shop our feelings. We try to medicate our feelings, and they just keep getting stronger. But when you go, I'm going to sit and feel this feeling, I'm going to walk around the house going, I feel sad, I feel lonely, I feel hurt, they go away. Feel your feeling until it no longer needs to be felt. And the more you can verbalize it and articulate it, so it's what I call triple A. Be aware of what you're feeling, accept it, articulate it, and it will have done its job, and you'll be happy.
Woohoo! Trying to soak it all in. There's been a lot in this hour.
There has.
Would you be up for sharing a brief meditation with us?
Absolutely. I'd love to do that.
All right.
So let's do that now. I want everybody to just close their eyes. And I want you to imagine in your arms as you as a little baby. Or maybe on your knee as you as a 2 or 3-year-old child. Or maybe you're holding the hand of you as a 6 or 7-year-old child. And we have something that I call the missing piece. It's the praise we never got, the words we always wanted to hear. For instance, I always wanted to hear I was the favorite. I never did. And that was my missing piece. And I worked so hard writing books to try to prove to my parents that I was smart as my brother, as beguiling as my sister. But then I realized that, no, that was wrong. I had to do it myself. So you have a baby in your arms, a small child on your knee. You're holding the hand of a child. Maybe you're looking at a 12-year-old who feels stupid and gawky. And I want you to repeat some words of me. I want you to repeat them with conviction. I want you to look at this child, which is you as a child, the you that had unmet needs, the you that wasn't told, I'm proud of you, I love you, I adore you. And you have a job today. And for the next few minutes, you're going to do better at this job than anyone else. You're going to become a loving parent to yourself and say the words you've been waiting your whole life to. You're going to fill up that missing bit. So let's start now. I want you to repeat after me. I am becoming a loving parent to you now. No one in the world can play this role of loving parent to you like I can. I love you exactly the way you are. I love you completely and unconditionally. You and I have balance now. There's nothing we can't do. I will always have time for you. I will always love you. I adore you. I am so proud of you. You matter. You're significant. You're gifted. You're talented. You're beautiful. You're important. You have amazing skills that are unique to you. Being your parent is the best job. You bring me so much joy. I am proud of you. I love you. You're interesting. You're funny. You're smart. You're intelligent. You are lovable. And I want you to take maybe just a minute more and think of what you most wanted to hear. Maybe you most wanted to hear you're pretty, or you're a good athlete, or you're good at math or science. You're wanted. I'm glad I had you. You see, you know even better than me the missing words you've been waiting your whole life for your parents or maybe your teacher to tell you. And this is your chance to say those words because your mind doesn't know where they've come from and doesn't care. They will sink in. So say it now. I'm so glad I had you. You're meant to be here. You're a gift to the planet. You have a purpose. You have unique skills. There's something in front of you, a phenomenal career, a loving relationship, a beautiful life that can be lived better by you than by anyone. And now add the missing piece. You're pretty, you're amazing, whatever it is, add it now. And now just add in the magic words. You are enough. You were born enough. You are always enough. You always will be enough. You're enough. You matter. You're lovable. You're significant. You're meant to be here. And there's something you're going to do better than anyone else. There's love in front of you, success in front of you, happiness and peace and health and wellness in front of you. You're enough. Hold that little child and really fill it with enoughness. See its little eyes sparkling and smiling as you install enoughness into your inner child and into you. And your job is to just say, I'm enough every day. And to every day, just take a moment, a second, to feel that little child's hand in yours, that little baby lying in your lap, that little toddler sitting on your knee, growing inside with nourishment as you nourish them with those words. You are enough. I am enough. I promise, I guarantee that those words will change your life because I've seen it every day for 33 years and it never ceases to astonish me and thrill me and elate me. Now it's your turn to be elated by the freedom and empowerment you get from installing in yourself the truth. You are enough. So when you know it, and of course your mind learns by repetition, say it every day, just open up your eyes and come back into the room. How was that for you?
Oh, my little child inside of me needed to hear that so much.
We all need to hear it so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've got to let you go. Before I do that, I believe, and if not, I'll scratch this from the record. Right before we did the meditation, you said you were going to tell us 2 little things, and we got 1 beautiful thing out of you. Do you remember what that second was?
The first one was Henry Maudsley's statement: the feeling that cannot find its expression in tears will cause other organs to weep. And that means if you don't cry, if you don't mourn, if you don't say what you're feeling, your organs are going to do it for you. When people say, you know, I've got this angry rash, this screaming headache, I'm sick of my brother-in-law or my ex-husband, and of course, you're always sick. So he said something very profound. What he really said was, if you don't express your feelings, your body's going to have to do it for you. That's his statement. The feeling that cannot find its expression in tears will make other organs weep. But I have my own expression, and it is, feel the feeling until it no longer requires to be felt. So don't shop your feelings. Don't eat your feelings. Don't medicate your feelings. They're the most real thing you have, and you must feel them. That's something called AAA. It's in the book. It says, be aware of what you're feeling. I feel jealous of my sister. So the baby is, well, I'll go and eat a cake then, or I'll go and buy something on eBay, or I'll just say I shouldn't feel jealous. So be aware, accept it. I am jealous of her. And then say it out loud, and then it will go away. But when you push all your feelings inside, they just regroup and become stronger. So whatever you're feeling, don't deny it, don't hide it, don't eat it. Say it. It will go away, and then you have the most wonderful thing, peace and freedom.
Thank you. Woohoo!
You're welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Marisa. Thank you, John, who's hiding just off camera in the wings, so to speak, for setting this up. This was absolutely phenomenal, and I believe is truly going to make a powerful difference in people's lives.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm elated and blessed to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so, so much. So for everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler saying, be well, have fun, get I am enough, and begin realizing you are enough today, and it's shine bright. Say that again.
It's the best New Year's resolution you could ever have. I'm enough. It's one resolution you'll never break.
3, 2, 1. I am enough. As the apples dropping down. Thank you so, so much. Above and beyond all else, everyone, shine bright. Woohoo! Thank you so, so much, Marisa.
You're so welcome. So welcome.
Let me know if there's ever anything I can do to help on our side of things. Support you, love what you're doing, love your work, love you, love you. So I am so honored to have had you on the show today.
What I would do is I'll have my office send your wife all the perfect pregnancy audios, the conception, the perfect birth. And if she listens to conception, she'll be pregnant again with Hannah Mark II in no time at all. My grandmother's name was Hannah, the woman who believed in me. And my daughter's middle name is Hannah.
Wow, wow, wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like below. Also, leave your comments. Have some real fun with it. Subscribe to our channel where you're going to get more great videos, more interviews coming up. And check out our website, inspirenationshow.com. That's where you'll find tips, blogs, information, videos you won't find anywhere else, and useful and helpful resources to really help you kickstart your life and to shine bright. Thanks so much again. Thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe. See the website. Thanks so much and have fun. Of course, shine bright. Woohoo!